Well, welcome back to Lowcountry Live. Today we're joined by Bobby Cummings. Bobby is the president of Cummings Wealth Management Group. He is a certified financial planner, a accredited investment fiduciary, and a certified family business specialist. Good to have you on the show today, Bobby. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great today, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic, fantastic. What are the keys? Let's start off right off the bat. What are the keys to setting retirement goals?
Well, Tom, one thing that I'm a big believer in, thanks to Stephen Covey, author of Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, one of those habits, he says, is to begin with the end in mind. And so that's something that I preach to my clients, and when we're starting out planning their retirement, is you really have to take time out of life and to work on your life and work on your goals and your vision and your plan for your future. So I think one of the most important keys is to begin with the end in mind and see what that retirement looks like for you. It's different for everybody. So taking time to envision that and really think about it and write goals around it, I think really helps people get on the right track when they start out planning their retirement.
So literally looking at the end of the tunnel where there's that light for retirement, but knowing where your stepping stones are along the way, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we go through our process where we help people really envision that, because so many people are just working so hard every day. They don't really, as I call it, like lift your head up and look out into the future. So we could take people through a process where we have them do that and do an exercise where they really envision that future, and what age do you want to retire, and what does that look like for you, because it's different for everybody. So really taking the time to picture that and think about, where do you want to be going, who do you want to be going there with, are you going to be paying to take your kids and grandkids along the ride along with you on some trips? Is it philanthropic? Do you want to give away money? Do you want to do trips that benefit other people, mission trips, that type of thing, and really think about what they want that life to be like in those years of financial independence.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they say, well, I want to retire when I'm 55 years old and I want to have $1 million to $2 million. And they're 47, 48 years old. And they have maybe $50,000 in their 401k. They've got to really do something dramatic. I mean, literally dramatic to get to that point of having $1 million in the next 7 to 8 years, right? And that's why it's so
Well,
important. Go ahead.
Tom, that's a good point. You would think so, and it is dramatic. Don't get me wrong, what I'm about to say, but time and compound interest are powerful things. And so, somebody at that point in life, if they really get focused and they really start what I call paying themselves first, just before you pay the power bill, the water bill, the light bill, the cable bill, all those things, pay yourself first and sock it away. And employer-sponsored retirement plans, 401ks, and things like that are one of the greatest wealth builders in America for people. And so somebody that's 40 years old, if they start maxing out those plans today and choose good investment options within the plan and get the employer match, they can certainly achieve those goals.
Let's talk about your Beacon experience. What's that all about?
So that's the process that after 30 years of working with successful people, that I've created to help people uh, take the time to chart the course out to the future. So that's the process where we spend with people to get them really thinking about what those goals are, as I mentioned. Then we have them do a self-assessment of where they are today to really score themselves on where they are in about 10 important criteria, and then having them write out what the goals are for themselves and their family for that time in their life when they want to be financially independent, defined as working if you want to, not because you have to. And so it's a very unique process. It really empowers people to make fabulous decisions. We incorporate all the aspects of their planning, every asset, every liability that they have, everything that produces a cash flow in or out, or an income or expense, and really be able to show people, here's where you're on track to be, as if we had never met. Just taking all the data, all the assets, everything, and forecasting out to the future to show them here's where you are in relationship to the goals that you shared with me. And then if they're on track, great. What can we do to help keep them there? And if they're not on track, well, what can we do to help get them on track? And that may be things such as adjusting their asset allocation or and contributing more to retirement plans or to after-tax programs, those types of things to really help people get on track to achieve their goals.
The top three things that a person should do to ready themselves to retire.
Oh, that's a great question. So, I really think starting with a comprehensive financial plan and analysis that I was just describing, you really have to know your number. You really have to know, how much money do you need to retire? And for most people, that number will almost blow their mind. It takes a lot of money to live the lifestyle that people are living today when you're no longer working and having that earned income. So I really think one of the keys is to have that comprehensive plan with the cash flow analysis, so you can see exactly where you are, knowing that we know those projections are going to be wrong because of inflation and taxes and rates of return and things that no one can predict. But it gives you a good guideline. The other is to have your asset allocation correct on what I would call a macro level, to have all of your investments, know exactly what your asset allocation is and what it should be based upon what your goals are and based upon what your risk tolerance is. And then having that different buckets of money, as I would call it, starting out with that cash reserve, that bear market bucket, that emergency reserve fund, and then building all the way through to the long-term retirement assets. So I see it oftentimes where people have their retirement money invested conservatively and their non-retirement money invested aggressively. And in my opinion, everybody has an opinion on it, but my opinion and most advisors would say that's backwards. You need to have the long-term money more aggressive, and then your short-term money a bit safer, because that's the money that people are going to go to if they have an opportunity or they need it for an unforeseen reason before they retire. So those are some of the keys.
Fantastic. We're out of time, but on our next segment, I'm going to be talking about drawing from your 30 years of experience. What piece of advice would you give to someone regarding their investments today? Bobby Cummings, thank you so much for joining us today. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You as well.